next two panelists, Kellie and Ondrea from Half Full. So they are co-founders to a home decor brand. So they make wallpapers, pillows, a bunch of other cool stuff. And they also have, Kellie has background as a VC for an angel fund. So she has perspective on both being in the design industry as well as being in an angel fund. So we're gonna get to see her having experience in both of those. So the first question, I just wanna know, can you tell us about your brand and how you guys got started?
So Ondrea and I both met in art school, and we went to art school here. So in order to survive, I worked in marketing for a very long time, and then in tech, learned about investing and angel investing. And Ondrea went up to Seattle and worked in video gaming. But we kept in contact. We always painted and did creative things. It was just in a different medium, and we had the desire to come back to kind of ourselves, our illustrative background, and so we kept in contact and talked a lot about what we would do. And eventually we started creating Half Full, which was a wallpaper line, and we've started making fabrics now. So our company focuses on animals and natural environments and things. So we have 3 buckets that we focus on: endangered, wild, and elements. And endangered, we have a pattern that's elephant skin, and we donate some percentage of that proceeds to a company called Creatura, which helps animals in Africa that are on safari reservations. And we also have wild animals. So like during the Sonoma wildfires, we have a pattern called Franz that has deer and fox and peacocks and fig trees, and we donated a % of the sales from that to the Sonoma Wildlife Rescue Fund. So we try to stay in that vein of giving back and also creating, natural environments that inspire people.
Awesome. And Ondrea, how'd you get involved with the brand? You guys met through school, but how'd you guys develop the idea of coming together to create this brand?
So we've known each other since, like Kellie said, since art school. So a couple decades ago. I won't get specific, but we did end up in tech because it is secure, it's lucrative, and it's also kind of passionless when you're an artist who likes to create independently. And so we would take breaks from our tech lives and go do painting workshops and things like that. And we both became homeowners, and we're talking about wallpaper, how we'd like to wallpaper our homes. And we just, I don't know if you've experienced this where you're like, oh, I could just do that, but you never do. Well, we ended up doing that. We're like, we could do that, we could make some wallpaper. And then within a weekend, we were in LLC, and it just took us, right? Like when it's the right thing, it just kind of takes you. Because we tried other things before that, like, hey, let's start a greeting card company. Didn't really happen. But this one did, and we just knew it was right. And so we joined forces, and it was time. We were done with giving all of our creative juice to the tech world. So it feels right, feels good, and
are you doing this full time now? Did you leave the tech world fully?
I left the tech world fully. It took a little while for me to do that. It wasn't just like an unplug this and plug into that. I made a transition that was kind of weaning myself off of my very secure job that, had health insurance and things like that. But it, like I said, it was passionless, and I made I had been making a decision for too long to lead my career based on fear, like, oh, I need to make money, so I'm going to stick with this. And I was scared that I wouldn't have that financial security if I left my job. And I started making decisions that were driven by my inner voice instead of by fear. And it slowly transitioned into a full-time career in
And
working.
what has been the most difficult part about growing the brand, getting it started?
The most difficult part is just, I think, defining our roles and exactly where we want to go with this. And our vision has always been the same. We've never argued about that, thank God, because I've heard other business partners who don't always agree on what direction they'd like to go. But we have the same passion, we have the same vision. So the most difficult part, I think, is just patience.
Yeah, and to add to that, my job in tech was growing companies, and then I worked at a venture fund as an operating partner growing companies. So it was like, okay, I already know how to grow a company. Mm-hmm. I just need to believe in a product and feel good about it. And instead of promoting somebody else's creativity or somebody else's vision, I need to be able to promote my own. And so, like Ondrea said, I think the hardest thing has been really just being patient. We see the end result, we see where we're going, we know what we want. But everything takes time. You have to develop things, you have to develop your product, you have to, do a few checks and make sure things are correct and perfect and the way that you wanted. Not perfect because nothing's perfect, but good enough for you to sign off and let go.
So you mentioned you help companies grow. So what exactly do you do? How do you break that down?
Yeah, well, my job was in growth, growth role. I primarily worked in marketing growth, but small tech companies, you go in and you look at what they need, and usually it was some kind of system, process, educating the founders on things that they needed, how to, train employees, how to coach employees, how to track whatever metrics they were, how to have a go-to-market strategy, how to market their product, how to talk about it, who they're marketing to, figuring all those things out that you don't really think about, because you're so focused on your product and you're excited about that. But then where is your product going to go? Who's going to buy it? Where do those people exist? How do you find them? That kind of stuff.
So for a tech company, it's very different than a creative company. So what avenue has worked most for you for marketing your line?
I don't feel like it's so different. I mean, there are differences, right? Mm-hmm. But there are some things that are similar. You have to know who your audience is. The difference is just the product, right? But not the people. I mean, you're still targeting people and marketing to people. So I think for us, just figuring out where our people were has been a little bit more of a challenge. We tried doing showrooms and we're like, showrooms, they're okay, but it's somebody else marketing your product for you. We have our website and we're starting to do that, but we noticed that because we're most passionate about our product, if it comes from us and it comes from us mm-hmm. directly, people like it more. So it's been really just about finding where our people are and what they like.
You do have the background as a VC. Can you tell us a little about the fund that you're in?
Oh, well, more of an angel investing female group. It's called Pipeline Angels, and they invest primarily in women-founded companies, so that are doing social good, but doing well, doing good, that can mean anything. So a lot of the companies funded are actually in fashion, because again, you're creating jobs and you're creating, money for women. So it's a group of women that get together and they invest, and you can go and you can pitch your product and your idea and get funding. It's actually a really good place for companies that are starting out. And you don't have to be solely women focused, but you have to have at least one woman co-founder type person. Awesome. Yeah.
And how long have you guys had the line, the home decor line?
Oh yeah, so Half Full's we started in 2015. Okay. So yeah, and now we have a showroom in Austin and Chicago and New York and LA and here, but again, a lot of our purchases are direct on our website.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Does anybody have any question for them? person? All right, so here's one.
Oh, okay. So going back to the whole entire part about like doing your passionless job, you know, because I'm at that phase right now. You know, I guess just like my question is like, how long did you do that for, like, willfully before you're like, I need to get out of here?
I was in video games for 10 years and I'm not a gamer. So, so that kind of says it. But it's not that I wasn't passionate about it. I was interested in it. As soon as the interest went away, I felt like I was not growing anymore. And this came along. So have you ever seen Office Space? You know, and he's just like, yeah, I'm just not gonna go in anymore. It just happened. I had no choice. It decided for me, and I could not peel myself out of bed and psych myself up one more day. And they picked up what I was putting down, and we had this kind of mutual agreement, like, yeah, you're done here. And it was my attitude. It just shifted. It was, I had made the decision long before, but fear was keeping me there, and then the fear fizzled out, and then it was done. Just kind of happened. It was natural. But I did have to have a direction where I had something that was calling, if that makes sense.
Totally. I think you end up reacting when you have to. Like you go full force when you have to. That's what I did. I'm like, I don't want to work for anybody else. Like, I'm gonna do this and just figured it out as you go.
Yep. Yeah. And you look around and you're like, if that person could do it.
It's true. All right, thank you guys. We're gonna bring the next one.